It's now 6 minutes to 8. Joining us in studio here in the precincts of Parliament, we have the leader of the DA, John Steenhuisen. Welcome. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Salam alaikum to you and the listeners. Great to be with you here today on Radio Islam.
We've always spoken to you in the past as the chief whip. Now you're the leader. How are you keeping fit? Are you joining this Tumi Sole's challenge of running and walking every day?
Well, I've always been a fitness fanatic, so I run most mornings and do a bit of gym. It's the only way you can keep fit. You know, you're running for office, you've got to run on the road as well.
So you take your seat tonight for the first time as the leader or the interim leader of the official opposition. Is it any different?
Well, I think it will be slightly different. I won't be having to worry about my rule book and being able to be standing up on points of order. I've now got a very competent chief whip in Natasha Mazzoni, and that's going to be her job this evening. But my job is to listen very carefully to what the President says and then to craft a response to it, which we will deliver next week. I think that as the official opposition, we've also got a responsibility to put on the table workable alternatives. So what I don't want to be doing next week is just bashing the President's speech. I want to be saying, you're wrong here for the following reasons, but here's what you can do to fix the situation in South Africa. And we've got some great plans around NHI, and our Sazani healthcare plan is a much better version than the nationalisation of the health industry. We've got some great plans around freeing South Africa from Eskom and giving power back to the people, and of getting people back to work. And I look forward to sharing those ideas with the President next week.
How difficult is it for you as the leader? We know the DA has been through a difficult period, and we know the next couple of months are critical for the party and for you because you're standing and there are others who are going to contest. You are accused by people from within your party of being part of that camp that's going to go soft on Ramaphosa, and that Maimane lost his job or was forced out because he was too strong and aggressive against Ramaphosa. Does that play at the back of your mind as you listen to him and as you start thinking how you're going to craft your comments come next week when you have an opportunity to speak about the speech?
Well, I'll start by just saying this, that anybody who's watched my speeches in Parliament over the last decade would hardly accuse me of being soft on Ramaphosa or on the ANC. I called the man a modern medical miracle, that he walks upright without a spine. I don't think that's being soft on the President. But what I have said, and perhaps this is where the misinterpretation has come from, whether it's willful or not, is that I've said it's not good enough for the DA to be standing on the sidelines, pointing fingers and criticising without putting on the table workable alternatives. South Africans know why we're in a bad situation. They know why local government's not working. They know why there's corruption and maladministration, and they know why our economy's not working. What they're looking for is a solution out of it. And so I want the DA to be more solutions oriented so that we can credibly go to people and offer them the binary alternative between failure under the ANC or prosperity under the DA. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's the right thing, and you do it by being hard on the President and hard on the ANC, but putting on the table an alternative.
We know that what's dominating headlines, many would say unfortunately, is the threat by the EFF to effectively disrupt. Is it time to relook the rules, John? Because freedom of expression allows you the point of order and all of that, but that can be abused and has been abused. You've got, 50 odd MPs from the EFF. Each one will stand up separately before they're overruled, and then before they're told to leave, and they don't leave, and they're thrown out. And by that time, 1 hour, if not more, of the nation's time, the President's time, the time of the House is wasted. Is it time for MPs to relook the rules?
Well, the rules are quite specific there, and it says if you abuse points of order that you can be told to sit down. But I think that we're going to see a bit more decisiveness by Thandi Modise this evening. She's a completely different kettle of fish to the previous speaker. I've worked with her. She's a no-nonsense speaker, and I think that she's going to be prepared this evening to deal with this well within the rules and not to indulge the type of behaviour that disrupts the people's business. One of the big complaints that I've had from South Africans and travelling around the country the last 2 weeks on my Real State of the Nation tour is that they are frustrated and feel left behind by Parliament and politicians who don't speak about the things that matter to them on the ground: water, electricity, sanitation, jobs, etc. And that when they look at Parliament, they see politicians indulging in mudslinging and the issues that matter to them in the small bubble here in Parliament. I think we've got to drag Parliament back to being a real arena for debate of the issues that matter to ordinary people, not the issues that matter to politicians. And so targeting Pravin Gordhan this evening or the former President de Klerk is just a distraction from the real issues that we need to be grappling with. It's also irresponsible. International investors and local investors are watching tonight very, very carefully. If they don't see the bold reforms from the President, if they see a Parliament that's not serious about getting down to the business of making South Africa work, I can tell you we're really standing the risk of our economic situation worsening, and I don't think any party should be actively contributing towards that.
Towards the end now, as we move away a little bit from SONA towards the DA, how's it going? How are you finding it being the leader of the DA?
Well, last year was a tough year. I'm not going to beat around the bush and be dishonest with you. It was a tough year, and we took us through a few knocks last year. But I've said that this year is going to be the year of action. We can sit in the corner and lament the poor election result last year and the fallout from that, or we can start the process of renewing and rebuilding. So we're heading into a policy conference in April. We're going to a Congress in May. This is a party that's accepted and looked at the election result. We've had an internal review that was brutally honest about where we went wrong, and we're busy setting out to correct those mistakes that were made and to get the party back on the path towards being what this country needs, which is a strong, vibrant party that can start to form the core of a new majority in South Africa. And I'm very confident that with ideological coherence, with values-based servant leadership at all levels of the party, and a machine that's able to go out and win votes and be authentically and organically rooted in communities, the DA is going to be back on the up and up before you even know it.
Lastly, John, on a personal level, right, what is all the political issues that the DA has got to deal with, the policy uncertainty, and especially after the fallout and the differing views within the party, and you're going to conference and those things will be ironed out there. But another consequence of the fallout is the personality issues. A man that you worked with very closely, Musa Memani, he was the leader, you were the chief whip. He goes on Twitter, he calls you Judas. How much does that hurt? How do you deal with that personally?
Well, I've been in politics for over 20 years, and the one thing I've learned, you've got to have a thick skin in this business. So I don't personalize those things, and I didn't respond by calling people names. I think that people are tired of the name calling in politics. They're looking for people who are serious about the solutions of the country. So I wish Mr. Maimane well in all his endeavours. I bear no animus towards him. His job is his job, my job is my job, and that's to take this party, lead it properly, and make sure that we're able to win back.
Have you spoken to him privately, tried to clear the air? He perceives you to be part of those who basically wanted to see him gone.
Well, I don't think that's borne out in any evidence whatsoever. In fact, I was the one rolled out continuously to defend him over the issue around the house and other things. So really, I think that holds no water. I was loyal to Mr. Maimane right up until his last day as the leader of this party. I performed my job as chief whip to the very best of my ability. But these things, the past is the past. We're moving forward.
Have you spoken to him?
I have not spoken to him, and I'm sure we will speak in time. But right now, my sole focus is on getting this party back on track, back to winning ways, and getting us onto a trajectory where we can really offer the alternative in South Africa. That's my sole focus. I'm not going to be distracted by peripheral issues around personalities and name calling. It's not my style. I'm determinedly focused on rebuilding, renewing, and fixing the DA.
John Steenhuisen, all the best.
Thank
you so much for your time. We really appreciate it, right?